Arsenal had the difficult task of playing away at Brentford to start 2025 off. No team in the Premier League has picked up more points at home than Brentford had this season, and Arsenal needed to go home with all 3 points if they wanted to stay with a realistic chance to get closer to Liverpool in the title race, and did exactly so. However, it was Brentford who first scored thanks to who else but Brian Mbeumo. Around the half-hour mark, Gabriel Jesus scored an important equaliser. In the 50th minute, Mikel Merino scored his second Arsenal goal, and just 3 minutes later, the game was done thanks to a brilliant strike from Gabriel Martinelli to make it 3-1. The win away to Brentford now means Arsenal are unbeaten in their last 12 games in all competition, with 9 of them being victories. But before we get started, make sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss future uploads, and drop a like while you are down there. Ethan Nwaneri looked fantastic as the right winger. In Bukayo Saka's absence, it is currently impossible to guess who is going to make the start as the right winger for Arsenal, especially due to Raheem Sterling's injury as well. Against Brentford, 17-year-old Ethan Nwaneri got the chance on the right wing in his first ever Premier League start, and he did so against the best home team of the season in the Premier League. So it was a massive opportunity for Nwaneri to secure himself more starts and more minutes in the near future, and it's absolutely safe to say he did impress everyone. Ethan Nwaneri was absolutely brilliant against Brentford and even won Arsenal's Man of the Match award. In my opinion, despite not getting a goal or assist, Nwaneri was by far our best attacking player against a very good Brentford side. From the attacking 5 players including Merino, Ødegaard, Martinelli, Jesus and Nwaneri himself, it looked like Nwaneri was the most experienced player out of the 5. The way he created problems for Brentford was just brilliant, and he also brought explosiveness and diversity in what was a very stale Arsenal attack most of the game. Ethan Nwaneri is, in my opinion, after what he showed against Brentford, the closest profile we have to Bukayo Saka in the current squad. The way he just glides past players and got that deadly left foot is just a fantastic asset to have on the right despite Saka's absence. In my opinion, Nwaneri's performance against Brentford should have earned him a start on the right again in the very near future, despite Arsenal having 5 difficult games coming up. What's also special is that it was away at Brentford where it all started with Ethan Nwaneri when he became the youngest ever Premier League player to feature in a game. 2 years later, he started there and performed a beautiful performance. David Raya's distribution was insane. David Raya did for the first time face his former club Brentford after his move away from the club 1.5 years ago, and we all can agree that it was a performance of everything from Raya, who had a brilliant distribution and was centimeters away from giving his former club a crucial goal. However, we once again saw the world-class distribution from David Raya, who has been very good this season. First of all, he made the right decisions almost every time yesterday, whether that was to go short or long and to start the game again quickly, or whether to slow the game down. Raya also almost picked up an assist after his immense long throw towards Gabriel Martinelli, with the pair having a couple of amazing combinations together against Brentford. And I'm just waiting for the time we finally get to see an assist from one of our goalkeepers, and it's also most likely that the goal will then come from Gabriel Martinelli thanks to its rapid pace. One fun fact regarding Raya yesterday was that it was only 59 seconds between his mistake where he saved himself to Gabriel Jesus' equaliser for Arsenal. If you go down 2-0, it will be almost game over. However, a minute later we are back in a game of very small margins. Thomas Partey's impressive season continues. With Declan Rice out of the starting 11 due to struggling with something, we saw a midfield trio of Thomas Partey, Mikel Merino and Martin Ødegaard, and it was a huge task for Partey to perform against a very good counter-attacking side in Brentford, but I have to say he dealt with it almost perfectly. In what was a difficult and lackluster first half from Arsenal, Partey was one of just a couple of players who had a good performance in the first half, and that got continued throughout in the second half as well. What has been Partey's weak side this season is the amount of space that is created between the midfield and the defense, but yesterday that was not an issue at all. The way he swept up the ball in the first half to stop Brentford's attacks was superb. He was also extremely secure on the ball. He won 8 out of a possible 9 duels yesterday, which I'm sure Mikel Arteta is over the moon with. Partey was also involved in Gabriel Jesus' equalizer after Jesus scored from a rebound thanks to a Thomas Partey long-range shot. Partey was a strong contender for our man of the match against Brentford. Gabriel and Saliba have carried this team for a while now. Gabriel Magalhaes and William Saliba have been world-class partnership for 2.5 seasons now, with the duo just getting better and better. Once again, our opponents almost came to nothing worth of chances and shots created, and that is mainly thanks to our world-class centre-back duo. The way they deal with every type of attacks is just fascinating and very impressive. It does not matter if there are smaller, faster and more agile type of strikers, such as Mbeumo and Wisa, or if it's more physical number 9s, such as Liam Delap and Chris Wood. Looking at the stats, Arsenal have conceded less than 0.3 xG in 6 of our last 8 Premier League games, meaning we would have conceded less than 30 goals in 6 of our last 8 league games if we played them 100 times. I also remember reading that this was Brentford's lowest xG this season. If that was just at home or in away games as well, I don't really remember, but it's still very impressive. And it isn't just Brentford who scored their lowest xG against us, it's also happened with multiple clubs this season, and also with our previous opponents in Ipswich. And is Mikel Merino finally getting up to speed in the Premier League? I personally was really excited to see Merino yesterday, as it was a huge opportunity for him to make a statement. However, I thought it was poor in the first half, and in the second half it looked better, but I still would have liked to see more of him. But looking at the stats, he had a good game, so maybe I am being too critical of him. Merino, as we know, scored a goal which sent us in the driving seat, but what's more impressive is that he won possession in the attacking third a total of 5 times, which is the most of a player has done in the Premier League this season. Jurrien Timber will miss Arsenal's game against Brighton. As Jurrien Timber picked up a yellow card against Brentford yesterday, he will not be available to play against Brighton on the 4th of January due to picking up a total of 5 yellow cards in the first half of the season. It will be far from ideal to not have Timber in the squad to take on Brighton, as he has shown exactly how good he is recently, with being up there as one of the better right backs in the whole of the Premier League. So against Brighton it will probably be Thomas Partey back at the right back. And Gabriel Jesus just keeps on scoring goals. Gabriel Jesus found himself in the starting 11 once again after an impressive run of form where he had scored 5 goals in his last 3 starts. There were question marks whether he actually can score goals regularly now, or if it was just against Crystal Palace he could find the back of the net. But in the 30th minute, Gabriel Jesus proved he can score against other teams than Crystal Palace as well, with him netting goal number 7 this season. Hopefully this is the start of a goal-scoring form and that he can continue like this. A fully fit and firing Gabriel Jesus is one of the better forwards in the whole of Premier League, and we Arsenal fans could not have asked for a better time for Jesus to find back to his old form now that Bukayo Saka is out injured. So let's just hope that Gabriel Jesus can continue like this and keep on scoring goals. However, that was all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.